The SpaceX Crew Dragon is the first spacecraft from a private company to take humans into space. It was created by a United States private company called SpaceX. They developed both rockets and spacecraft on their own. But of course, NASA is now one of the largest customers of SpaceX. To get a ride to the ISS, astronauts could launch on either the United States Space Shuttle or the Russian Soyuz spacecraft. The Space Shuttle is no longer in operation. It was retired in 2011. After that, the Soyuz was the only way to travel to the ISS. There was no other spacecraft available to take humans into space. The year 2020 changed all of this. The Crew Dragon flew astronauts once again from American soil. The Dragon spacecraft has a few different versions. First came Dragon 1. This was a cargo spacecraft that brought supplies to and from the ISS. It had more than 20 flights bringing cargo to the station. This version of the spacecraft could not carry humans, only cargo. Then came the Dragon 2. This has two versions, the Cargo Dragon and the Crew Dragon. The Crew Dragon can carry people and cargo into space. Cargo Dragon looks very similar, but it can only hold cargo. So it doesn't need life support, abort engines, or controls inside the vehicle. For this video, we'll be focusing on the Crew Dragon. That's the part that's most exciting to me, bringing humans into space. The Crew Dragon is split up into two parts. This is the capsule, and this is the trunk. The capsule is also known as the pressurized section. Inside, there's air to breathe, and they keep the temperature nice and comfortable for the crew. This is the nose cone. It's closed for the launch, but they will immediately open it up once they are in space. This exposes some sensors, thrusters, and the docking mechanism that will be used to attach to the ISS. The Dragon capsule has 16 Draco thrusters, 12 of them on the side, and then 4 more up towards the top. Draco thrusters are used to change the orientation of the spacecraft. They are also used to change the spacecraft's orbit, so they can reach the ISS at the beginning of a mission, and then deorbit at the end of a mission and come back to Earth. Additionally, there are 8 Super Draco engines, and these are significantly more powerful. If there is an emergency on the launch pad, all the way up until they are in orbit, the Super Draco engines can quickly get the crew to safety. On the bottom is the heat shield. This will protect the crew as they enter the Earth's atmosphere at the end of the mission. At one point, SpaceX had plans to have landing legs and extend them through the heat shield. This is so that the capsule could touch down on land. This would have been really neat to see. However, due to cost, complexity, and time schedule, SpaceX turned away from this idea and decided to do a splashdown in the water like other NASA spacecraft have done in the past. The bottom half of the spacecraft is called the trunk. There's room for cargo in here, and it helps support the spacecraft during the launch. The white half of the trunk has the radiator panels, which help remove heat from the spacecraft. The other side covered in blue is the solar panels. This generates power for the Dragon capsule. The previous version of Dragon had solar panels that would unfold once in space. This can be problematic if the panels ever fail to unfold. So it's kind of nice to have the solar panels directly on the side. Just point it towards the sun and you've got power. The trunk stays attached for the entire mission. It's only detached at the very end, about an hour before splashdown. The trunk does not have a heat shield. It will fall back to the Earth and burn up as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. To enter the capsule, astronauts use the side hatch. The Dragon capsule was designed to fit up to 7 people inside. However, NASA has chosen to use only 4 of the seats. This leaves more room to carry cargo underneath the seats. The Crew Dragon has been described as a modern spacecraft. The seats are customized to the body of each astronaut, and there's a lot of room. Compare this to the Soyuz spacecraft, which, well, see for yourself. There's not a lot of room in there. If I had the choice, I would choose the Crew Dragon. Once the astronauts are fully strapped in, these seats will be rotated. The Crew Dragon can be controlled by the 3 touchscreen displays. Up until this point, most spacecraft have had tons of physical buttons, lots of knobs, switches, and dials. SpaceX has decided to go with the sleek, futuristic panels. There are a few physical controls just in case the panels fail. Most of the flying is done autonomously, which means most of it is done by the computers on board. If all goes well, the astronauts won't need to do much. Inside the cabin are several windows to look outside. And if you need to use the bathroom in space, you can use the toilet up towards the ceiling. We don't know too many details here, but let's just say privacy is somewhat limited.